food. One of my favorite topics, probably one of your favorite topics. And I love bringing people on here who have discovered their gift, culinary skills and culinary gifts, and they found a way to impact the lives of others and to build a business from it. Today, we have a mother daughter combination that's going to tell us about how they're doing just that. Let's go.
Welcome to the Monetize Your Ministry Podcast.
And you get a chance to interact with them. To me, that's full-time ministry.
That I happy because tackle that business is like a feed. It brings in itself and then opens it.
I want to provide content and things that are going to help change lives, and I simultaneously want to receive a blessing from that.
Now here's your host, Kymone Hinds.
All right, today's episode is one that you want to share with someone because you know someone who is good in the kitchen, someone who has the skills of just being a great cook, a great baker, whatever it is, but they have not found a way to move that out to a wider scale, to reach more people, and you are determined to help them do that. This episode is going to do that. I want to introduce to some and present to others our guests for today. It's a mother-daughter combination, Carla and Amber Jones from Sweet Potato Jones. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. I'm happy that both of you are here, taking time out your schedule. You both are on the run, but you made some time for us today. And I know it's going to be a great conversation for my audience today.
Absolutely.
I want to give a little bit of introduction to who you are so that people know who you are. You're a Black woman-owned family catering business located in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Absolutely.
You guys have been in existence for 15 years, officially for 9 years as an LLC. And Amber is our trained chef and has served many in the Charlotte sports world, including the Panthers players, Hornets players, and others. Both Carla and Amber have served many throughout Mecklenburg County, including the school board, councilmen, Charlotte Mayor, city councilmen, Microsoft, Bank of America, other corporations. The list goes on and on and on. And here's the word. We are Serve Safe certified, as well as certified hub vendors and vendors for the city of Charlotte, as well as Mecklenburg County. And one of the words that I love that I've read in your bio, that you have served many throughout other corporations, including the city of Charlotte. So food is your way of serving. And on this podcast, that's what we want to highlight, how people serve. Amber, Carla, I want to start with this question. Who came up with the name Sweet Potato Jones? And I want you to give us the story behind the name.
So I will tell the story briefly. Thank you so much, by the way, for welcoming us into your place. It is a pleasure to be here. I actually started serving people, just doing parties for fun, serving people meals for fun, just because it was something that I enjoyed doing so much. And eventually my thoughts were to name the business Above Par, primarily because my husband and my dad are golfers. And also, I wanted to name it Above Par because my children's names are Ryan, Amber, and PJ. So I took the first letter of their names and said, I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to make it Above Par. Well, we did that for about maybe a year or so. And one day my husband says, so you do realize that above par in the game of golf is really bad. And I think people are going to associate your catering or your business with being something really bad. And I was like, I don't think they will. Anyway, we were trying to figure out a new name. And Amber actually said, well, our specialty is our sweet potatoes. And no matter what it is, no matter what function we would do, people always wanted to request the sweet potatoes. Even if it did not match their meal, they would ask for, how do we get just a side of sweet potatoes or sweet potato casserole? And she said, Amber suggested that we go by the name Sweet Potato Jones. Kind of sounded like a country music group to me at first. But once we started sharing it with others, it really, really popped, and everybody loved it because our last name is Jones. Kind of sounds to me a little bit country, because I'm not from the South. However, we do live in the southeast part of the country, so it worked perfectly. So there you have it. It was from Amber.
All right, Amber. Like, tell us about how you brainstormed on this. Your mom gave us her version. Is there anything else you want to add to that story? We lost Amber for a second there.
No.
She'll come back.
Okay.
So Carla, while Amber's coming back, tell us a little bit about your background and tell us about work and, like just even your journey, because Sweet Potato Jones wasn't the first job you did or the first anything you did to make money. So just kind of talk to us about your journey, Carla.
So I'm actually a registered nurse. I received my bachelor's in nursing I attended Oakwood for 4 years, but then I received my bachelor's in nursing from Andrews University. And I worked for about maybe 12 years, and I actually returned back to Andrews to get my master's in nursing education. I always wanted to teach nursing. And so I taught nursing for about 11, maybe 12 years. And I just wanted I thought nursing was my everything. I loved taking care of people. I loved serving people. I loved being there for them, loved being a part of their life. And when my husband 15 years ago turned 40, that's how old we are.
Wow. This is, people don't usually come give out their ages on the podcast, but okay.
I'm 1 year older than that now. I'm 56, but I'm very proud of that. So I did his 40th birthday party, and I realized doing his party how much I loved to pull everything together, how much I loved to be a part of that. My biggest yucky part, though, about it was I didn't get a chance to enjoy the party. So I was all into serving and setting up and decorating and providing the food and getting everything ready, but I don't recall many details of the party. And I said, if I ever did another party, I would make sure that I provided an event for other people to where they can also enjoy the event and they don't have to worry about doing that part. So through his party, I had a number of people ask me to do their events. And I kind of didn't want to do it because it was not what I was really into. I kind of just did it that one time. But I got, I guess, suckered a little bit. And I just kind of started doing maybe one event here and one event there. And I sold it to people as this will be an opportunity for you to just show up. So if I do your event, all you have to do is show up. We'll talk and we'll plan and we'll pull everything together. But you don't have to worry about doing anything but show up. Not only will we pull it together, but we'll serve it and we'll clean up, and then you can still enjoy your guests even long after we are gone. And so that was our mantra for years of going into people's homes and just doing small events, small birthday parties, small Christmas parties, because we were able to allow them to still be a part of their event, even though they were putting it on. So that's who we are. And through there, we just kind of grew like crazy, not by anything that we did. I guess we did do some things, but it really happened overnight. So
yeah, we want to bring Amber in on this story. Amber, the internet doesn't want us to be great today, but I think you can hear us, right?
Amber, maybe you can move to another spot in the house. I don't know. That would probably help.
No, I think we can hear you now, Amber.
Okay.
So
let me ask. The question was okay.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, so I'm guessing that the answer was, the question, how did we get into this, and am I kind of on the right track, or? Well, let me say this.
Your mom was giving us the story, her version. Her career, she went in, she was a nurse, got her master's, was in the field of educating others in that field. She'd host your dad's party, and then this becomes something. How do you get into this? Tell us about your journey, education wise, and how do you get hooked up with this?
Okay, so rewinding to the beginning. So when I was maybe junior in high school, I started I was really heavy into the Food Network, the baking shows, the cooking shows. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something like that. So before, started thinking about college, I applied to Johnson and Wales University here in Charlotte. And when I got accepted to Johnson and Wales, but they said, oh, it's been deferred. So you can come the year of 2013 and not instead of 2012. And so I was like, okay. And then my parents were like, just apply to Oakwood, just go there for a year, then you can come back. Well, that didn't happen. I stayed at Oakwood all 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Oakwood all 4 years, and I studied fitness and wellness, and I had a minor in nutrition. And so I wanted to do something with sports. I love sports. So I was trying to figure out how I could kind of combine the food world with the sports world. So once I graduated from Oakwood in 2016, I moved back home, but I just couldn't seem to get the job in the athletic field. The job was always going to the guy, whether it was a PE coach or, a stretch therapist at, a high school for their football, anything dealing with the sports, it always went to the guy. So I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do food and cook. Let me check out some programs that are going on now. So that was the summer of 2016, going into 17. So I started looking up culinary programs. Johnson and Wales was a lot of money, but then I came across our community college here in Charlotte, and they have a culinary arts program. So I went to them, and I was just trying to get information, just seeing what it would be. And so once I went there, they said, oh, well, you can have this scholarship, you can have this scholarship. And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Like
scholarships. Comes from scholarships.
Like it was any kind of scholarship you could think of, they had. So out of my whole experience going into culinary school, I probably came out of pocket maybe $700. So I was like, okay, maybe this is really where I'm supposed to be. And so even I think my thing for food was, in our family, Sabbath dinners, that's like the highlight, of the weekend. So whether it was my grandmother's house here in Charlotte or my grandmother's house in Chicago, I could see it was like the instant gratification. Like the house is loud, everybody's talking, everybody's playing. But once the food is served, it got quiet. But everybody was happy. And so I was like, you know what? I want to try to bring that same kind of gratification to people through food as well. So once I got those scholarships, I was like, I know this is where I'm supposed to be. So that's kind of how I landed in the food world.
Amber, this is so good. Our guests today are Carla and Amber Jones from Sweet Potato Jones. And just doing this interview alone is making me hungry. So I got to go eat after this is over, just letting y'all know that. But Amber, you kind of lead me to my next question, because I told Carla before we got on here that I actually, when I was in school at Andrews University studying for my master's in divinity, I would go to Chicago with some of my friends who were interning at a church that your dad, Carla, pastored, and we ate many meals there. And I'm just going to tell our audience, right? There, like you go to a meal, the spread was amazing. It was like, how many dishes do we have here? And there's so many people, like there were just people everywhere, but no one left like not full. Like you were just so much, the food was so good. And so both of you have talked about how the power of food to bring people together. And you've kind of alluded to it already, Amber. How did your family history of hosting people in your home factor into this business idea of not just catering, but event planning? How does this family history, and both of you kind of take it from different sides?
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a huge factor. It could be two people, just two friends, to inviting 50 people over to my parents' house. We're always putting, I guess we're always putting it on. So it, like I said, it could be two people and we're putting out a spread, so that's kind of our thing. We love to host now. It doesn't matter if it's a birthday party, if it's just because, if it's the first day of summer, if it's the last day, it really doesn't matter. We will find a reason to bring people together. And it's crazy because everybody knows, okay, well, they got the food, so we don't have to worry about that. So we'll assign things like, you know what, you bring the plates, you bring the forks, so you bring ice cream. But literally everybody knows that we have the food. And so that's just our way of fellowshipping and having fun and just using our gifts just to be able to bring other people together.
Yeah, that's good. Carl, how about you? What how does the family history factor into this?
I think the family history is a really, really crazy important part. One of the things that I think that sets our business apart as far as catering and events is we take every single event seriously, and we almost make ourselves feel like we are a part of these people's family.
Mhm.
And so I would say we probably do more weddings than anything. But in the weddings, and I tell the bride and the groom this, we don't want to get in your business. However, we do want to feel like we are a part of your family. And when I make it feel like it's a part of my family and Amber does the same, I think that we serve with a much stronger sense of connection, a better sense of actually loving them, wanting to be a part of their special day. And so I take any event that we do, I make it seem as if those people or that event is a part of our family. And so that is just, it just kind of ties in so perfectly. And it makes it also easier
Yeah.
because I just feel like we're just doing something that we've always done.
Yeah.
I think
You know,
one of the
both of
I
you.
also think
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it
Go,
kind of
Amber.
goes back to the saying. I think it kind of also goes back to the saying, treat others how you want to be treated. And so I feel like we try to serve others how we would want to be served. So I'm not gonna come in here and make the wedding the most janky or just not put together or something like that, because when it's my turn, I wouldn't want people to do that to me. So I think treating others how we want to be treated plays a big part in how we serve others with the events that we do.
Yeah. You know,
Absolutely.
it's so interesting. Both of you use the word without prompting from me, serve, right? Serve.
Mm,
And this
mm,
is a business, right? Like you use the word serve. Now,
hmm
you know, it is clear that if you're watching this or listening to this, that Carla, Amber, you see this as service, which in our
Yes.
podcast
Yes.
we call that ministry. And I think
Yes.
it's very important for people to understand that ministry isn't always up front in a building with a microphone, but it can be in a kitchen, at a table, at a
hmm
reception, right?
hmm
Kind of just give us your reflections on that. That this is a ministry. Would you push back on that, or would you agree with that?
I agree with it 100%. I tell that to our customers all the time. Um, because it is not just our way of giving back and serving, but it's also my way of sharing with people. I don't have to tell you about the love of Christ. I don't have to tell you what he means to me. I don't have to tell you anything about my prayer life. I show it to you in the way that I serve you.
Ooh.
And I feel like they receive that, they feel it. And our business has grown by leaps and bounds primarily through word of mouth.
Wow.
We do not have a marketing budget outside of Instagram. We don't have any billboards or anything going on in newspapers. It's strictly word of mouth, and people feel and sense that ministry through us. One of the things that I will say that I kind of couldn't understand in the beginning part of this business, which I'm getting more into now, is Amber and my husband Patrick always would say, "We're not charging enough. We're not charging enough. We're not
Ooh.
doing enough. We're not this." And I would always come back and say, "But it's my ministry." And so I don't want anyone to feel as if they are being overcharged or bamboozled. I want them just to kind of feel what I feel. I love doing this. It's such a grateful part of my life to be able to provide for others. So for
Yeah.
me, ministry is such a strong keyword.
Yeah. Oh, so I got to come to you, Amber, on this because your mom she just referenced you. So, Amber, talk to us about the charging part, right? Because sounds like your mom is like, "Yeah, I'm just this
I've
ministry,
learned.
so
I've learned.
pay what you can. Let's like what give us a donation. I love all like I'm not
Yeah.
saying you, but like Amber, kind of give us your perspective on that, and even how you guys have all grown in terms of charging for your
Mm.
services.
Did she freeze again?
Okay, so yes, yeah. So with the charging part, what'd you say?
We can hear you. You might be a
Okay,
little
so with
delayed,
the
but we can hear
charging
you.
part, it definitely was Okay, it was a little difficult, because for me, I understood that it was our ministry, and I knew I was good at it, but it was also like my full-time thing. So my mom, she's still a nurse. She has her career, and this was just something that she wanted to do on the side. But for me, I'm like, I need groceries, I need clothes. I gotta make a living off of catering and feeding people. So, and I would go around and I would look at other people, and I'm like, there is no way we're charging enough. Like, I'm doing all this work. I'm tired. My feet hurt. There is no way that I should just be coming away, with a, just a little chunk of change or something like that. So we're definitely getting
Better.
better. But I do feel that with the services that we offer here in Charlotte, and the type of experience that we bring to people reflect the monetary part, if that makes sense. But it was a little struggle in the beginning, and I just wanted to make sure that we were all being properly compensated for the gifts that we have.
Yeah.
If the gifts were being
Carla,
used outside of the church. So I would say that. So because we served as hospitality leader too. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. Your role in your local congregation is connected to what you do in your business, which is to me amazing. So Carla, tell us about some of those conversations with you and Amber and your husband Patrick. Just kind of talk to us about how they had to move you in that direction a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, so long we would charge people the bare minimum, because I really had a feeling of I could not comprehend making a living out of something that was such a love and such a feeling of a ministry. I could not comprehend how you make a living out of that. And it was not until I think my husband and Amber especially, I think they allowed me to just kind of feel some things every once in a while. And one of the things that they would say to me all the time is not just the cost of the food. You're charging people for your time. Yes. You're charging people for your efforts. You're charging people for driving around town, trying to find things, the gas, the wear and tear of your car. And so for so long, I would say, but that's just what I do. That's just a normal part of it. And they would say, no, it's not just the cost of food. It's so much more. It's so much more than that. And then I got the question actually from Amber one day, who said, Mom, how much do you get paid an hour at work?
Oh, come on, Amber.
And I said it to her, and she said, we have to charge the same, because you work actually harder, if not longer, because owning your own business is not just a one shot and you're done. It's a every day, all day, sometimes late at night, definitely on the weekends. It doesn't matter. And the more our business grew, the more events and parties and weddings that we were doing, I started understanding and feeling this is a lot of work. And I really started connecting it to how much do I get paid at my other job. And that was when I started realizing and understanding how important it was that we charge something similar. We are still not the most expensive in our city. I still sneak and do a couple of things every once in a while that they don't know about, just because it's my heart. An example of that would be
just found out on the podcast.
Somebody might say, hey, we've got 4 kids. Do we charge the same amount for these 4 kids as we do adults? Sometimes I say yes. Sometimes I say no. It just depends upon how I feel. But
it sounds like the lesson here is send them to Amber. Don't send them to you, Carla.
Probably
let Amber, let Patrick answer these questions. You know what? I don't know.
Probably right. Yeah. You're probably right.
But it sounds like, here it is, right? And for someone who might be listening to this and you're wondering, if I start charging, will I lose my heart for ministry? Will it be all about the money? Amber, Carla, they are they're testimonies to the fact that you don't lose your heart for serving people. You don't lose your heart for helping. You don't lose your heart for it being about people more than money. But it does empower you to be able to serve people better. And in fact, I do want to ask you that as a question. Have you noticed any difference in your ability to help your just your business levels, like how you can operate as a business since you've been able to raise prices and start charging a little bit more closer to what you should? Kind of talk to us about that.
I'm going to jump in here real quick before Amber does, because something jumped in my head really fast. One of the things that we've been able to do probably over the last maybe 10 months, maybe even closer to a year, is offer our services for certain things that may be in need, people may be in need. One of the things that we were able to do, and I think it's because of us charging more, is there was a young lady in our city who went over to somewhere in the Caribbean with her friends. This is a crazy story, and she ended up murdered. She actually was from Charlotte. It was all over the national news everywhere. And I randomly met her cousin at a nail shop who found out that I was a caterer and said, we are having a celebration for her birthday. We would love it if you all could cater that meal. And I took that back to Amber, and Amber said, sure, we're available. Let's cater it. And I would say maybe a few days went by, and I just said, Amber, I think we need to cater this meal with no charge.
Wow.
I think we need to show them not so much that we're in this for any kind of money, but that we are, it's a sincerity type of showing for them. It's a condolence type. I wanted to be able to provide something for the family, and just allow that opportunity to be a ministry for us. We were not in that to make any kind of money, and we provided a meal for them, and probably close to 100 guests, free of charge. And so that was just a benefit to me of increasing your prices with others, but also being able to take that opportunity and minister to others as well. So that's my spin.
Yeah. Amber, you want to jump in on this?
Yeah, so I'll come from the angle. That was also a great experience to be able to provide for the family of the young lady, because she was my age, and I'm just thinking, like, I don't know what would happen or what my family would do if something. I would want someone to do, that for my family as well. But I don't think it has like affected my ability. I guess that was a question to like serve. I guess I served as the hospitality leader at my church for 6 years. So everything that I did with the catering company, I treated it the same way at church. The meals might have been a little bit more simpler, something like that. But I literally was excited to use all of those gifts, at church and be able to mesh them with the work life. And I feel like I've gained a lot of respect from a lot of people, and a lot of people in my church as well, just for the way that the way that I was giving back, to the church and making everybody feel welcome and stuff like that. So it's great. I'm grateful to be able to be in a place to keep a level head to where, when it comes to business, I can stand firm on business, but I can also go over here and I can serve my church and, and people in the community with the same kind of respect and the same kind of boundaries and the same kind of excitement, if that makes sense.
Oh, definitely. What I hear from you is, it sounds like when you're in with your body of believers, you're giving this voluntarily. It's the same work. And when you're in the marketplace, it's the same work, and you're still serving people with the same heart. And that's so beautiful, right? It's like, I wish more believers would have the opportunity to do that, where what I do as my ministry is also what I do as my vocation. And I'm able to, like, all of my life is ministry, and I get paid for it.
Now, I will say this: is it glitter every single time? No.
Okay.
Do you get? We have a few folks that kind of feel entitled, whether it is at church or whether it is at some of these events. So it's all not 100% glitter at all. But I feel like we've gone through so many we've met so many people and we've been in so many unique situations that we've learned how to kind of, I don't want to say deal with them, but maneuver them to where we can still be able to, I don't know the right word.
Minister.
Yeah, that's the word.
No matter what
Minister.
no matter what comes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Right. I
yeah,
just want, it's not all, everything is just not always 100% gold, but it's good.
well, let's stay right there, Amber, because someone is wanting to launch out, and they it's good to know, right? It's not all peaches and cream, right? It's not all sweet
Right.
potato, right? It's not all,
Right.
but talk about and each of you can take it, right? Been the biggest challenge that you faced in business, and how have you handled it?
Mm.
I think biggest challenge in business. I feel like for me, it might be I don't want to say consistency, like a consistency part, but it is kind of consistent because sometimes trying to figure out how to say this, but I'm drawing a blank. So, Mom, you go ahead and you take it, and then we'll shoot back.
Repeat the question again, please.
Yeah, what's been the biggest challenge that you faced in
Oh.
business, and how have you handled it?
I would say the biggest challenge has been working with people. People can be very challenging. Sometimes people can be very rude. They can be disrespectful.
Well,
They can be unwilling to acknowledge the hard work that you have put into something. They can be I don't know the word, but when you almost feel like you're entitled. That's the word. So there's a lot of that in a service customer industry. You overwhelmingly do have people that are extremely friendly and grateful, but you also have a good group of people that can be very not friendly. And so being able to understand that for me was very hard, because I have the kind of personality to where I'm very quick with the response, with the verb, with my facial expressions. And that was very challenging for me at first. And I remember doing a couple of events where my husband would come and help us serve, and he would say, "Carla, watch your face. Carla, watch your body language. I can see it. You don't feel it. I can see it." And I have actually learned that whole thought process of I can kill you with kindness. And it has actually become almost fun. And I think because instead of us, showing how we really feel to someone, that has allowed our business to stay as alive as it is. Because I think if we were to show people when they treat us in that manner, and we were to be quick and respond in that same manner, I don't think we would have as many word of mouth recommendations. So
Wow.
that was the difficult part, was learning how to manage yourself and always remember that no matter what is thrown at you, I'm only here for a moment, as well as I can get through anything. It's not the worst thing in the world. And again, this is my ministry, and I'm going to have to show you, no matter how things are falling apart, we're going to still make sure that this is the best event ever.
Nice. I like that. All right, how about Amber? You got it for us now?
I will say I 100% agree with what she said. People can definitely be difficult. Even serving in the church world too, people feel entitled to things, and it comes off sometimes like as people try to make you out to be the help, if that makes sense. Like whether it's serving the food or if I'm, and it's so crazy because, and this is just from my perspective, me, I'm the chef. I'm the person who does the food. I do this, I'm that. But then I also, if it's a wedding, I'll go clear plates and I'll do things like that. And if someone says something smart to me, in my mind, I'm like, do you not know who you're talking to? Like, I'm literally, I'm doing every part of this service for you to act this way. But I also have to remind myself that whatever I say and whatever I do as a response, it's going to be a reflection of, what's on my t-shirt, Sweet Potato Jones. So I always
Yeah.
have to remember, who I'm representing and what I'm trying to build. So definitely the people, probably the hardest part, or the people that, want to get over on you and, well, I can do this at home and this just seems like too much. And you know what? If you feel like you can do it at home,
Go on ahead.
You know what?
you don't need me, but definitely.
I just wanted to piggyback on what she said a little bit, especially about how she thinks about what's on her shirt and how she is representing our company. She's representing our family. But when you think about that comment, Amber, and you think about how we as Christians, we don't walk around with things on our shirts, and we don't walk around with things that reveal to others that we are Christians. Yet in our actions and in our day-to-day lives, it should come across to them that we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can be so hard when you are faced with what people say and do, the way that you're treated. But you're representing your God, you're representing your faith, you're representing what you believe without it being on your shirt sleeve or your shirt. And so that is a really great analogy that you use there, because it's so intertwined with just your everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Carla,
that.
Carla, what you shared, and Amber, what you shared, just gives me a thought. And I never said anything like this on the podcast, but you guys made me think about this. We always talk about how do we share the love of God, how do we evangelize, spread the gospel, and I think starting a business, right, that's based on your ministry is a way to touch more people, impact more people. And if you were just going out there doing some of the traditional stuff, and that's not a knock to anything, but
Absolutely.
people understand commerce. They understand I need a service, I need food. You provide that. And
Yes.
you said it earlier on. The way I serve in this business tells about the love of God. And I just want to challenge someone. One of the ways that you can really have impact is through monetizing, starting a business, because people, you don't have to beg them to come to you as much, because they understand, okay, I need this done. You do it. I need my party. I need my wedding catered. I'll come to you. And then you are able to interact with them and have impact in a way that they are looking for.
That is so true. It is such an honor. Honestly, it is a blessing. I believe that if you are in a business and it is not an honor to you, it's not a blessing to you, then you're not in the business for the right reason.
Wow.
And I think that might not show initially, but it's going to eventually show that you're all about the Benjamins, right? And it is absolutely nothing wrong with making money. It's absolutely nothing wrong with being in a comfortable state. But if you don't tie that same philosophy in with your relationship and your ability to share the love of God with everyone, even without opening your mouth, as a pastor's kid, being involved in seeing evangelisms and tent efforts and things of that nature, and doing all kinds of things that we had to do at church, I've always felt like there is got to be another way besides going out in the afternoon and passing out track. There has to be a new fangled way besides trying to do a tent effort on the corner. And so in my time at church, I have spent all of my time at our church really just trying to think outside the box, doing things differently. And so one of the things that our church is a church plant. We've been around for 17 years, Trinity Worship Center, 17 years. But when that church was planted and we didn't have a church building, one of the things that we did was we searched out visitors after church and we took them home for dinner every single Sabbath. That alone, just developing a relationship, learning how to trust people, learning what resources they had, what resources we had, was a really strong way of them saying, you know what? Nobody else at any other church has done that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to join this church because they went out of their way to invite me to their home for dinner. It would be hilarious, Kymone. Sometimes we wouldn't even be having dinner. we would go over somebody else's house for dinner after church, and we would invite visitors to their house.
Wow.
But it was just the way of, that was how we knew that in our home, this is how we are going to minister to others. And it's just such a prime example of what we do even today.
I love this. Let me say this to people. Jesus ate meals with people. Mm-hmm. And more people remember your food than they'll remember my sermon. I'm just going to tell you that. They just will. I'm just going to be honest. Yep. So I'm coming to Charlotte next week, right?
Yes.
And this question is a wider question, right, for anyone. I want you to tell me, Amber, I want you to tell me, Carla, what's a dish that I must try from Sweet Potato Jones? Like, you tell me your favorite, and then Carla, you tell me yours. So Amber, what's yours?
I'm going to start. Amber,
okay.
Boy, it's so many. We pride ourselves on doing comfort food, but I would have to say, of course, sweet potatoes. But I'm a stickler for our vegetarian meatballs. There's none others. We have served those at events with the city, and people have torn them up and had no idea that they were vegetarian.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna try that. Okay, all right, Amber, what's yours? What do I have to try, and what do people have to try? If they like, this is the chef's recommendation. This is hard, like asking you who's your favorite child. I know it is.
Oh, definitely. Oh, absolutely.
Favorite. See, the thing is, I have such a creative thing to create just stuff, but like, we're gonna put it out there. It's gonna be a sweet potato cinnamon roll, but the sweet potatoes, the whole shebang. You have to have the sweet potatoes,
say that again,
the mac
Amber,
and cheese.
You broke up. Say it again. Sweet potato what?
Sweet potato cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a treat. That's just a treat, you know. But I think the whole soul food plate, like, you have to have the sweet potatoes, the mac and cheese. You got to have the zestiness from the vegetarian meatballs. You have to have the collard greens, and you have to have the honey butter cornbred. So I don't know. Right, I can't just say one dish.
Podcast over. I'm coming. Yeah. I love it.
Amber makes the best salmon ever, I think.
Oh man. So I'm sorry, I can't choose then. You gave me so many. Soul food plate. I got to get the salmon. Well, I guess the vegetarian meatballs are on the soul food plate. Listen, if you're in Charlotte, if you're anywhere close to Charlotte, what are you waiting for, right? So tell us how we can find you, your website, how we can book you for an event. Just tell us so people can connect with you.
So you can find us on Instagram as Sweet Potato Jones. There is a link in the bio. So you can do that. And we also have a website, sweetpotatojones.com.
Nice. I love it.
Instagram as well. IG, same thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yes. So it's easy. I love the branding. The fact that you got your website and your Instagram is the same. So the website is sweetpotatojones.com, sweetpotatojones.com, and on Instagram is @sweetpotatojones. And I'm just gonna warn you, if you do go to their Instagram, it's gonna make you hungry. I'm just warning you. Don't say I didn't tell you this before. But Absolutely. If you're in the Charlotte area, if you're in the wider North Carolina, even South Carolina area, because I know some parts of South Carolina is so close, get on over there and support this ministry-driven business. Support Absolutely. This minority-run family business. There's so much more we could have gotten into today in today's episode. But I just want to thank you, Carla, and you, Amber, for what you are doing and for teaching so many of us who our gifts may not put us up front, right? Some of us, our gifts don't put us up front with a microphone, but it's still ministry. You've taught us here on this episode that we do have a place in ministry, that we do have a way that we can serve others. And I just want to encourage those of you who are watching this and you've been encouraged by this to take what you've learned and go increase your income and your impact.
Thank you for listening to the Monetize Your Ministry podcast with Kymone Hinds. For more information, Visit our website at www.monetizeyourministrypodcast.com. That's www.monetizeyourministrypodcast.com. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please share this episode with someone who needs it. Let's increase our income and impact.